Hello everybody, some would say I'm the reverse and welcome to my review for Batwoman Season 1, Episode 5, which is titled Mine is a Long and a Sad Tale, which is a very long and a sad title for an episode, but nonetheless, let's get into my review of this episode with my general thoughts. I thought this episode was a huge step in the right direction for where Batwoman needs to be um, going forward into this season. Easily the best episode this season. The first four episodes ranged from decent to kind of good, on the lower side of good. But this episode is on another level. It feels like it's a completely new writing team, a completely new like showrunner and everything. This this episode was on par with probably maybe the worst episode of Flash this week, just like right under that. This was a really good episode, and I'll go over why I thought that. Well, right now, since I don't have anything more to talk about before that, let's start off with the plot of this episode. It starts off with Kate, who uses Dodgson to find Alice because she put the tracker in him in the last episode, and she uses him to find Alice, excuse me, and capture her, which was a super cool fight scene between Batwoman and then on the other side was Alice and her Wonderland goons. I thought that was a really cool fight scene. The lights went off and there was night vision involved with Batwoman's cowl, which looked really cool. It was a great nod to the comic books because the eyes were white, just like classic Batman comic books, and I thought it looked really nice. But in this scene, the action and the choreography, the stunts, everything was pulled off so much better than it has been in the past four episodes. I think it looks like it was pulled straight out of Arrow, to be honest, when she pulled out the bow staff and was kicking the crap out of the goons. Everything was just really nice in this scene, and I thought it was a really cool moment. Um, so, yeah, that's basically all I have to say about that scene. I thought it was a really cool scene. But let's talk about when Kate actually captures Alice. Uh, Alice starts her origin story. She starts telling Kate about her origin story, and it starts when she wakes up in this cabin. Uh, actually, wait, yeah, it does start in this cabin where this creepy dude and his son, which turns out to be Mouse, they found her by the river, and she's in this house, in this cabin. I don't know what it was. I think it was a house, and he abuses her, and well, he doesn't really abuse her. It's implied that he abuses her, which he probably does. He keeps her in his basement, uh, in like a dungeon looking room. It's like a prison cell basically, with a cut off face in the sink. It was a really cool start to the origin story, and the guy was really creepy. He was basically keeping Beth because his son needed a friend. So yeah, his son, whose name was Johnny Cartwright, which I think is the Arrowverse's version of Jane Cartwright, maybe, who was Jane Doe in the comic books. I won't get into detail on who that is, but I think that this Johnny Cartwright might be who he's supposed to be, just a male version, just a gender swapped version. Uh, so yeah, he has this like, I don't know what it is, like a burn or something. It was from an accident apparently. I think that's what they said. But half of his face was burnt, and yeah, people apparently are like scared by him or something, and he needs friends. So his dad kept Beth in their basement. At first, he was kind of friendly. He um, he said he called the police, but he really didn't. And then on the TV, it said the police are still looking for Beth Kane. And that's when she realized that he never called the police. And he took her down to the basement and kept her there for weeks and weeks. And yeah, I'll go through a bunch of that crap. But Kate actually now knows, going going away from the origin story part. Kate knows about Catherine faking Beth's death all those years ago. Alice told her. I'm glad that they're not keeping a secret from everybody. And, now Jacob knows, Mary knows, and now Kate knows. And, yeah, I'm glad they're just getting all this crap out of the way. It's only been a few episodes, and they're already revealing all the secrets to each other. And yeah, well, Alice told Kate that Catherine, all the stuff that she did, that the skull fragments, excuse me, belonged to a deer instead of, uh, Beth. So yeah, the cat's out of the bag. Everyone knows about Catherine's evil deeds, evil in quotation marks. Um, but let's stray away from the Alice part for now, because I really want to. I don't want to forget about talking about Mary and Luke's storyline. So Mary, after having a tough time with Catherine, learning the secret, learning the truth about Catherine, she goes to look for Kate at Wayne Enterprises or Wayne Tower. I don't know what they're calling it. I think it's Wayne Tower. And she finds Luke there, and they are talking about the skin robber or whatever his name is, which is Alice. I forgot to mention at the very beginning of the episode, she was stealing like skin off of dead people at the morgues, and I'll talk about why she did that later. But yeah, they're talking about that and stuff, and Mary gets really jealous that Kate is with Alice, her murdery sister, when Mary has never murdered anybody, and she says, "I'm the good sister," which uh, which I understand, like why she would be jealous, but I also think realistically she would understand that there's stuff going on with, considering Beth is not only alive but also a murderer, psychopath, crazy lady, and yeah, I just feel realistically that Mary would show some sympathy for that, but I mean, I like the way they went with it, her being kind of jealous. They didn't go overboard with it, and they didn't like make her cringy or annoying or anything. So I'm glad that they kept it on the down low this episode, sort of her jealous feelings. But her and Luke were a really good pairing. I never expected them to be a really good pairing, just like Sophie and Mary were, well, a decent pairing. I think it was episode 3. Yeah, it was the one with Hush. Um, but in this episode, Luke and Mary get paired together in there. They're better than Sophie and Mary were, and I really enjoyed their scenes together. I thought they worked well off of each other, not only the characters but also the actor and the actress. Um, and I thought they were really funny. Uh, and it was a really funny pairing watching them work together like that. When Mary says, "Is it weird that I have a craving for pizza now?" And Luke's like, "Yeah, that's disgusting." I thought that was pretty funny. But also, they used this storyline to explain Elseworlds, the Arkham breakout. Uh, they basically found out about Mouse and how he admitted to also having a similar hobby of stealing skin off of dead people. Uh, he broke out of the Arkham he broke out of Arkham during a breakout, which was the Elseworlds breakout. They just weaved that in using some expository dialogue, which I thought was pretty cool. I didn't really want them to show some footage from Elseworlds or anything, because if people didn't watch Elseworlds, it wouldn't make much sense. But I'm glad they did it like that in the episode. New people to the Arrowverse that just watch Batwoman are are just hearing of an Arkham breakout that no one really knew about, which isn't a huge deal. It's not very important to the story of the show, but fans of the Arrowverse that have watched up until now, hey, Elseworlds, that's cool. I'm glad they're referencing that. So we now know where Elseworlds lies in the Batwoman timeline, right in between episodes 4 and 5. So yeah, there's that timetable. What next? We had Allergen's Al excuse me, I cannot talk. Alice's origins, which let's continue. Um, Basically, she escapes out of the basement, and she goes to this. she goes to the phone upstairs, and she calls her dad and says, "Hi, Beth, I'm alive." And yeah, Jacob and Kate, they drive down there immediately. It takes them like an hour, and he goes inside looking for Beth, and Beth is in the basement, and Kate comes in, and she goes down to the basement, and she puts her ear up against the wall, and I saw a few people online complaining about why wouldn't Beth scream. They explained it in the episode uh, that the guy who's holding her captive would kill anybody, would kill her family if she called out to anybody. And I mean, I guess, but I understand where people are coming from. But I mean, I won't hold it against the show because it really it was a cool moment, I guess. Um, when she was like, she wanted to yell, but she was crying on the other end of the door. By the way, I'm just gonna spit it out right now. I thought Beth's child actress was did a really good job in this episode. Actually, child actresses and child actors aren't usually the best actors or actresses on the shows. Uh, like a good example of that would be Grace Gibbons from last season of The Flash. But uh, yeah, Beth's child actress did a really good job, and was actually pretty emotional when she was in the cell and stuff. And yeah, I just wanted to point that out. But yeah, Kate was on the other side of the doorway in the house, and Alice, in the current day, blames Kate for not saving her, and she was talking about twin instinct and being connected is all just a fantasy. And I thought that was a pretty cool moment, I guess. It wasn't super unbelievably cool, but I mean, I thought it was pretty cool. Just that dynamic when Kate could have saved her, and she was right in the basement, and they just had her. And by the way, they explained to Jacob and Kate that it was Mouse who was doing the voice on the phone because Mouse can actually like mimic voices and stuff. Which at first I thought it was kind of stupid, uh, and I thought it was even stupider at this point when when he mimicked her voice on the phone, or when they said that he mimicked her voice on the phone, and then he did her voice. Um, but I thought that it was a pretty cool moment just because of Jacob Kane's acting and the emotion that he conveyed. I thought that was a pretty cool scene, but I thought him mimicking Beth was kind of stupid. And I'll talk about more of his mimicry when we get to the end of the episode. But yeah, current day, they're in this. Alice and Kate are in the diner, and she drugs Kate and brings her. I believe she brings her to. Yeah, she brings her to the same house and puts her in the same cell and everything. And, uh, well, Jacob and Sophie, they track Alice's phone or Kate's phone to the diner that they were at. Because, by the way, Kate basically called Jacob, so he would trace their he would trace the call, and it would basically be an incentive for Alice to tell her the stories. But yeah, they drove to the diner, and then he realized, oh shit, I've been out here before. Uh, and he turned all the way around, and he went back to the house, and that's where Alice was holding Kate. And this is where Mouse was as well. Uh, an older version of Mouse, obviously, because it is the current day. So Sophie and Jacob went there, and probably the best scene of the episode was this emotional exchange between Alice and Jacob. Uh, the moment when Jacob finally realizes that Alice is Beth. Um, they have an emotional exchange. She screams. Well, he calls her Beth, and she's complaining, what's how's Kate? Where's Kate? And all this stuff about worrying about Kate and not worrying about saving Beth. And well, she tells him to put the gun down, and he does. He comes close. A really emotional scene, almost made me tear up. And then out of nowhere, she stabs him, which I thought was such a cool moment. It just shows how swaying her character really is, because I believe that she wasn't just tricking Jacob. I believe they actually had a heart-to-heart moment. He got through to her for just a second. That's probably how the season will end. Is someone will get through to Alice and she'll, kind of be restored and probably locked away, and she'll regret everything she's done. But yeah, he got. I believe he got through to her for a second, before she did another 180 and stabbed him, which was such a cool scene. Probably the best scene of the episode, like I said. But yeah, that is uh, that is what happened there. Sophie went to go save Kate, and like Mouse basically mimicked Kate. This was actually a cool moment. I liked this part when he mimicked Kate. Probably the best use of his mimicry this episode. I thought that was pretty cool, and then they had a decent fight scene. I guess it wasn't up to the standards of the Batwoman uh, night vision fight scene thing with the bow staff at the beginning of the episode, but it was decent. So yeah, that's basically it. And at the end, it's revealed uh, when Beth was in the cell, Mouse slides a book under the door for her to read, and it is Alice in Wonderland, which is no doubt, undoubtedly, what starts her obsession with the book and leads her down this dark path, and probably is the reason she assumed this persona of Alice. Definitely the reason she pursued this persona of Alice, and they have a little meeting again in present day, and they have he gives her the book again, or does she give him? I can't remember, but she calls him dear brother, which people were making a huge deal. Oh my God, he's Kate's and Kate and Alice's brother. Holy crap, long lost brother. No, no, he's not their brother. I'm just gonna say it right now. I strongly believe they are not brother and sister. There's no that it wouldn't make sense with the flashbacks of the episode. They find her on the river. What are the chances that they are brother and sister? Uh, they just wanted to be friends in the flashbacks. It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. Uh, I don't know why people believe that they're brother and sister. They are not brother and sister. Just look back at the episode, you'll realize nothing adds up with the timeline if they are brother and sister. Nothing makes sense. If I'm wrong, well, I guess I'm wrong, but I mean, I don't want them to be brother and sister. That would make everything convoluted, and kind of some stuff would not make sense as to how the hell did a brother and sister, long lost brother and sister, how did he find her in the river all of a sudden? I don't know. It just wouldn't make sense. They're just really close, considering he's such a huge part of her origin story, and they were close as children, they're close as adults. They're basically brother and sister. They are not biologically brother and sister. I'm no, just no. So yeah, like I said at the beginning of the episode, Alice was stealing skin, and she's planning on using it to basically repair Mouse's face. So yeah, I guess not really a huge plot point. I'm guessing it's not gonna be a huge thing, but in the trailer for next week's episode, it looks like he gets a new face from her, probably from those skin grafts, or not skin grafts, like those skin sections or whatever she uses to make him a new face. I guess that's cool. I guess I don't know. Part of his character is his burnt face or whatever. So they're fixing that next episode. It looks like. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Also, when he's fighting Sophie, he has this like fake face. I think it's like a real human face. Yeah, it's a real human face, and he's wearing it, and it comes off, and he puts it back on. Kind of creepy. Reminds me of Joker from Gotham. I don't watch the show, but I've seen not Joker, Jeremiah, or I'm sorry, or Jerome, is it? I don't know which one is which. I think Jeremiah's after. I don't know. You Gotham watchers, tell me in the comments. But also tell me in the comments what you thought of the episode. I'm just gonna end my review here. Nothing much to talk about. Next week we have the Executioner as a villain. Looks really cool. I thought it might have been Scarecrow or something, but they released an extended trailer on the CW YouTube channel, and Jacob says his name is the Executioner. Looks like Sophie knows that Kate is Batwoman, and yeah, I'm looking forward to next episode, mainly because of how good this episode was, but also next episode looks pretty good. So just tell me in the comments what you thought of the episode. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. What did you like about the episode? What did you dislike about the episode? Did you like it more than the other 4 episodes? I certainly did. I'd give this episode maybe an 8.4 and 8.5 out of 10. Definitely holds up to the Flash and Arrow of this season. Not as good. Remember this. I'm gonna say right now, definitely not as good as any of the episodes from Flash or Arrow. But I can imagine the quality of this episode going to the quality of maybe a Flash episode this season. Uh, I thought it was a really good episode and a really big step in the right direction. And I'm hoping that every episode can remedy this. And I feel like the 22 episodes for this season is justified after this episode. I was a bit skeptical how they could draw the story out for 22 episodes, but now I am certain that I am falling in love with the show. It took me maybe 5 episodes, but I'm getting into the show, and I'm excited to see where it goes next. But just like I said before, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And stay tuned for my Supergirl review. It's going up later today or tomorrow. I don't know if I have enough time. I hope I can get it out later today. And then, Flash and Arrow are on tomorrow night. And my reviews will be up for those episodes on Wednesday. But yeah, nonetheless, hope you guys enjoyed this review. See ya.